Hello and welcome back to the BLT 11 tier list. I am Micoy and I'm joined by the woman who can't spell Phoenix correctly.
Uh, hey!
It's
Did I misspell it that much?
it's O before E. You always do Phoenix.
Ah, crud. I didn't even realize. Hey, PokeArt 2004 here. I will not spell Phoenix incorrectly now.
All right.
Thank you for telling me.
Thank you very
You didn't have to
much.
tell everyone, though.
Thank you very much. Now, last time we covered what was it covered? Predictions and power rankings for BLT Week 1. And today we're going to be covering Week 1 recap and Week 2 predictions. So, Week 1 was got off to a pretty good start. There wasn't anything that was noteworthy, just a couple of unlucky games that happened. A lot of unclean
I
games.
think more than a couple, but yes.
A lot of unclean games happened this week, and we're going to review them one by one, unbiasedly, except PokeArt is on the team. But I'm going to be more unbiased of
Hehehe.
the two. So, let's get things started, shall we?
Okay.
First off, the Phantom Trout eating Primal Pangoros. Now, I wasn't surprised. I thought Phantom Trout had a better lineup going into this week, and look what happened. They won.
Yep.
First off, SVOU. We got 3D versus Suzuka. Now, this game is a little bit, as you said, unclean. Um, although, not so much when you're really looking at the grand scheme of things. But there was definitely a crucial moment that happened. Anyway, sorry about that. Well, okay, so this game here was a little bit unlucky for 3D as being the more experienced OU player. Um, it Terra Dragoning the main thing to point out is that
Hello.
uh I wasn't specific in my notes. Damn. It Terra Dragoning to resist Heatran's Magma Storms and was able to Oko crit Alamomola. What won Susie at the game? What the frick mon was that?
Oh yeah, that was so unfortunate, because did you notice what item the Aloma Mola was?
What was it?
Red card.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Not only that, it was max HP, max defense, I'm pretty sure.
Well, yeah, that's unfortunate. As Alamomola would, I would thought Alamomola was gonna take one hit at least, and that just did not happen.
And it was a plus defense nature too.
Yeah. So yeah, really unfortunate start to 3D's OU journey here, but Suzuya getting off to a strong start with a little bit of luck on his side. Well done. Constantly switching to stall her out to keep the pressure on her was a well, it is very nature to Bati's style to act out the pressure points. And anyway, back to again Bati versus Velvet. Again, as I mentioned, Bati playing around Primarina well in the early stages of that game, constantly stalling her out with constantly switching to keep the pressure, which I thought, which is a very in nature with Bati's playstyle. Next was the Toxicking the Roaring Moon before it terras and sets up the D dance was also very beneficial for Batsy. Among Us Stun Spores helped out Skeledirge in the long run as it was able to kill Landorus and chip Volcarona with ease via Hex. And then Garganackle just ended up trapping Corviknight via for multiple turns via Salt Cure, which earned Bati the win when Velvet had to forfeit.
Once once Lando and Primarina were dead, there wasn't much Velv could do about Skeledirge.
Not really, no, as it was.
All she had left was a very chipped roaring moon that could no longer hit at its fullest.
Yeah, and the fact that it was toxic, it was constantly unpressured at that point, gave Velvet a really hard struggle, and Botsy just took the win after that.
Yeah, bit of a tough game to win for Velvet.
Mhm. Next up, SV Ubers, you got 7992 versus Ainscrad. Now this, a lot, you went with Ainscrad on this one, but little did you know that 7992 really pulled the stamp that he was the Uber circuit champion via this game.
Yeah, I gotta ask, is this the same guy we called mid like a year or two ago?
I don't remember calling him mid. I just said he was very I just thought he was had a very strong competition. He just upped his game af-
Clearly.
after
Oh
that.
man.
So next, turn 8, pivotal turn. This one, 7U's Kyogre took down Ain's own Kyogre with ease by Thunder. Was that Kyogre not special invested? Ains. I
Um
wanted to know what the build on this one is.
I think a lot of Kyogres are not really specially defensive because like why would they need to be?
Oh, a lot of people do. I've seen a lot of special defense Kyogres.
Have you?
Well, not recently, but
Exactly.
when I was laddering a bit, I saw some things that some of the Kyogres aren't being killable, and still with Calm Mind and Surf and Thunder, that's a really dangerous combo. So yeah, for the rest of that game, Ainscrad was utterly destroyed by 7992 by that point, using Kyogre very effectively against Toho and Gliscor, Arceus beating Koraidon and Terra Electric Zacian to win that game.
No, no, no. Didn't Ainscrad have the Terra Electric Zacian?
Yeah, I mentioned that Arceus beat both Koraidon and the Zacian.
Ah,
So yeah,
okay, yeah.
7992 proving that he is a formidable threat in Ubers right now. And I don't think the momentum from winning the Uber circuit can stop 7992. I just feel it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just curious though. I wonder how much speed he was running on that Kyogre cuz
Right?
it seemed kind of fast.
It is a pretty fast guy. I think he invested speed in that Kyogre. Maybe have a nature.
It
See,
wasn't max speed. It definitely wasn't max speed, but it seemed kind of speedy. So, it may have not Thunder may not have been a speed tie. In fact, I bet both Kyogres probably have very specific spreads.
and 7992 just had to be faster.
Probably.
All right, next up, Rocher versus Jawara Bot. Now, this game was actually a lot more closer than a lot of people give it credit for. Jawarabat did made some risky plays that ended up paying off. For example, sending Hydrapple to eat a play rough from Azumarill on turn 8, only to then Nasty Plot, and then Terra Electric, and then Draco Meteor to kill Tornadus at a later point in that game, as well as letting Hydrapple eat a Dragon Claw before Okoing Komao at turn 34. Risky plays do benefit you in the long run, and Jawara, but having that Hydrapple very utilizing very well. I was impressed by that. However, you were about to say something?
Yes, I was.
Go ahead.
I was about to comment how Hydrapple is typically ran quite physically bulky, so perhaps it wasn't quite as risky as you thought. He probably knew that his Hydrapple would be able to take a lot of physical uh torment.
Yes. He was using it as his physical wall at certain points and just had to nasty blood into her electric very specifically. The, and then Draco Meteor to tank the Hurricane and then beat Tornadus later, which was very nice. Although overall, I'd say Riche played that Sand team a lot better. Terra Dragoning the
Yeah.
Terra Dragoning the Excadrill and Sword Stance to set up to beat threats like Rhyperior on turn 17, and then later at the end game against Low Kicks, where he just straight up rock slided it to death. Um, and then Slowking had Hydrapple, who followed up and got dead by the Earthquake to end up for Riche to end up winning that game.
Yeah, the sand, the Exca and sand just kind of swept, just kind of cleaned the end game.
All right, next up, a pretty what was once a hype game overrun by bad luck. Um,
Oh no.
Franco versus Fiend in RU. Now, Franco's Thunderous looked good at the first couple of turns, causing major damage to both Cyclozar and Thunderous Therian. However, it did not claim kills. It was perfectly set up to beat the Cyclozar with Focus Blast and then Thunderous Therian with Thunder. Unfortunately, didn't just happen. And then Fiend started playing better around the middle portion of that game. Started claiming kills when Overquill was greatly utilized against the setup Brevivroom through Intimidates and Aqua Jets, and was able to kill it sufficiently via the Rocky Helmet, dying it to it similarly. It was
Well, not quite. It was more like he kept switching in and out of Thunderous and Overquill because well, Overquill to take those Iron Heads, Thunderous to take those high horsepowers, and so every time Overquill would come in, it would get another Intimidate off and another Rocky Helmet
attack
thing,
from
and
Overquill.
another Rocky Helmet to punish.
Yeah.
To use as pun. I don't know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was there to set up intimidate, attack, and then switch out when the right thing feels necessary, as he said. And then Aquajet just killed it, and then the Rocky Helmet just killed Overquill.
Aquajet did not kill it. Aquajet put it in Rocky Helmet range.
All right, all right. Aquajet beat the Overquill, and then died to Rocky Helmet afterwards. Yeah. And then after a dominant display at towards the end of the game, that was the Terra Electric Volcanion, which was picking up kills constantly. However, Franco then towards the late game, Terra Dark Mean Shao, and that ultimately reverse sweep Fiend.
Yeah, goddamn. Like, like, it looked like Franco might lose, but then, he just Terror Darks the Mean Shout, and it one shots everything left.
Knockoff and Close Combat were definitely very, very strong in that late game, especially at the point Fiend was at, and so that ultimately booked up the win. Very, very nice.
Especially because, webs were up, so nothing could outspeed it.
Yep. Next up, we had Stories versus Shinjineer, and this one was an unfortunate loss. A very, very hacksy one at that. Sarina was put to work very early, knocking off the Talonflame's heavy duty boots and the Galade's assault vest while getting flame bodied twice in the process, despite the Lumberry. It really put to work there, and despite getting burned, it still did some measure of attacks and did well. And then you can really tell from Stories' build that the team revolved around the Dunsparce, which was a massive threat in theory because it was Terra Poison to be able to Toxic Chandelure, and it set up the Calm Mind and the Roosts to boot. But getting paralyzed from turns 23 to 25, allowing Crocodile to safely kill it, hurt Stories, which was really unfortunate. So yeah, the rest of the game played out as you would expect. Thunderous was able to kill Monkey Dory by getting it paralyzed, leading to the forfeit and the win by Shinjineer.
Yeah, a paralysis via a thunderbolt, no less.
Ten
As if
percent
the pairs
chance.
weren't unlucky enough.
10% chance might as well be 100 at that point because yeah, you don't trust the ones with secondary effects all that much anymore, unless you're really lucky, which engineer admittedly got. But he held his own. Next up, Drip versus Fish, which was the last game. If I recall correctly, this was the last game
Yes, it
played.
was.
It was very short. It was very hyper offensive. I think the Trout already won by that point, so who cares? Might as well go out all out with the HO. Staraptor was a real asset to Fish, beating the Slowbro despite the rocky helmet and even OHKOing Decidueye as it dies to recoil. And Terra Electric Palmot double shocked the Tauros to death for the Fish win. Nothing else to comment, PokeArt?
I'm surprised you didn't have anything else to say.
I
Oh
mean, it.
yeah, I guess I do have one comment.
So,
I was very confused as to this one play Drip made.
which
It,
turn?
it was weird. In order to kill Toxtricity, why did he use Gastrodon?
Yes, he predicted a freaking thunder or no electric attack or poison attack. I don't know.
No, Mikoi, he had a free switch in and he sent in Gastrodon.
Oh, yeah. Why did he?
He had a Delphox in the back.
He was able to kill
And it's
Toxtricity at
not
that
like
point.
this Toxtricity was gonna outspeed.
Very weird play, but Big Fish just consistently had the upper hand on him.
I agree, but still, having his Gastrodon be so low just right off the bat as soon as it gets in, uh, that definitely hurt because it allowed it to do nothing else because it was so low and it just died next time it came in.
Oh yeah, which was unfortunate, but hey, you learn with every new play you take, right?
Yeah, but he should have killed it with Delphox or hell even Tauros because that wasn't gonna underspeed either.
No, definitely not. Next up was Stars Ama versus Greedy. Stars Ama beating Greedy. Very I knowing into this that I knew Stars Ama was a not as well known name as some of the big league players. He's still an up and comer, but proving himself worthy in as well as he did against Greedy, an established LC player like Greedy, really put the impressive eyes on Stars Ama. I'd like to keep an eye out for this guy as the weeks
Oh
go on.
yeah, same. He played really well.
Yeah, played well starting from the beginning, knocking off Marini's Eviolite, which would have been useful for Greedy's ability to wall, as putting Poniard to sleep so it couldn't be a threat. Diglett got to kill Greedy's Meanfu and even crit Trapinch, which was very costly for Greedy. In the end, a better matchup and some consistent plays allowed Starzama to gain the edge, Glimmet taking down Terra Poison Growlithe Hisui to win.
Wait, Trapinch got crit?
Yeah, Trapinch got crit and died to a Diglett.
Uh, let me look at this now. Crit. I
Yeah,
thought it just naturally did that amount of damage because I was watching fast.
so yeah, this was critted, died, moved on, and then Starzama proceeded to win. Keep an eye out on this guy in the
Well, it
future.
didn't die from the crit. It
It
just
got
got
critted.
damaged badly.
Yeah. Again, keep an eye out on Starzama. Like, this is a player that I have very keen interest in, and so I'd like to see the level of skill that he has moving forward, especially against more threatening LC players. Next up, DOU Aragon versus Spencer. Aragon kindly posted his video on the thread, so you can check that video out for a more in-depth analysis on his side. But in terms of my side, I think Aragon. I think Penter played well, and then Aragon really came back at the towards the sub after Penter already gained his spots. By turn 5, Penter had the edge in this game. Clear Amulet Iron Hands proved to be a great answer to Incineroar, and Volcanion, despite missing the Heat Wave on Among Us, managed to hit and burn Roaring Moon, which would have been a major assist to Aragon. The early burn, he was so mad at that point that that happened, that, you know, he was playing a bit. Uh, Penta was just one step ahead by that point. However, turn 7 or 8, Aragon started to come back using Terra Steel Lando Incarnate to substitute and wall attacks from Terra Fairy Goldango, which did major damage. While his own Goldango killed the Tornadus and brought Pentar's own Lando to 1%, giving him an extreme edge. Iron Hands remained a constant threat, though, in that game, as it was able to claim kills, while Aragon's Nasty Plot Goldingo majorly chipped some of Pentar's mons for a 2-hit KO until it crit killed Iron Hands at turn 19, which proved to be the sealing deal in that game, with Rillaboom finishing off Volcanion at the end.
That sounded pretty thorough.
Again, go watch Aragon's video for more information about that game, but to me, I was very impressed with Aragon here. But Pencer could be a good asset if he started to play better and he kept his useful, reliable Pokemon to win, basically.
Subscribe to Aragon, but subscribe to Micoy too.
Subscribe to the BLT community. Next up, Royal Reloaded versus Azik. This match was really fast
Yeah,
because
I
the
wonder why.
because the matchup was unfavorable. It was Steel versus Fighting. A quick game that saw Urshifu take out the Skarmory, Gallade beating out the Iron Shards and the Goldango, and Zamazenta CCing both King Gambit and Heatran for the ASIC win. ASIC coming back again to terrorize the Monopool again.
Yeah, I mean, not only is Azik the better player here, but he had the type matchup. He had the matchup, and he had an Infernape.
Infernape would have been a good asset. You never know.
Well, yeah. I mean, Infernape type coverage wise just kind of is a threat to Royal Reloaded's whole team.
Yeah, you could definitely tell who had the advantage just from that Infernape.
You can tell who had the advantage just by looking at the teams.
Yep. All right. Next up, Sunny Shore Snorlaxes tying the Lavender Lapises. I had these two at the top that's the top cut of the power rankings, and it's nice to see that the old heads come to an agreement and offer to truce. Even though Raj posted in the BLT about the SpongeBob meme where SpongeBob and Patrick are basically fighting the air, but who knows? Maybe it'll be more bloody next time. Next, first match was Thiago Nunez versus Mimikyu Stardust. First 30 turns were very well played. Both players using hazards well and making well-timed switches. I really like the sequence they had in the first 30 turns between Nunez and Mimikyu Stardust. Both were absolutely playing like this was an SCL game.
Yeah, I honestly thought when I was gonna watch this, I thought it would be Thiago Nunez like just completely bodying Mimikyu Stardust, but no, Mimikyu Stardust played well.
He did played well,
Made
and
made good doubles and switches, and yeah,
yeah. So, Gyarados Dragapult was a threat, beating the Yellow Health Fable and Zamazenta after they've already been neutered by Samurott and Hazards, and even Okobing Slowking at one point. And then in the end, Terra Water Gliscor just clutched it for T Nunez as he beat Primarina and outpaced Samurott Hisui's Razor Shells in order to kill it and King Gambit for the win. Either
Wait, Terra Water? Oh, yeah, it is Terra Water.
Terra Water Gliscor, which was a real highlight. This one was the focal point in the match, and Mimikyu Stardust couldn't. After that point, I think the overwhelming advantage that Thiago Nunes had was a bit more clean. It was a bit more consistent, and then in the ending, it just happened that Thiago Nunes won.
Yeah, but it didn't need Terra Water to beat the Primarina.
Right, right. I thought it was. I thought the earthquake was just enough with the stab and all that.
Yes, it was. It didn't Terra when the Primarina was out.
Yeah. But you know, Thiago Nunes won, but kudos to Mimikyu Stardust for putting up a great fight.
Yeah, that was a good fight.
Definitely a contender there for match of the year. Next up, Ferenia versus Starreal.
Oh boy.
I felt really bad. As you can see, we are big Ferenia fans, and seeing him lose was big disappointment. But it was against Starreal, so kudos. Still kudos to putting up a semi good fight. Um, Terrifier Great Tusk nearly got the crit kill on Skarmory. However, its bulk prevented it from going down, but still got an OHKO on Dragapult. And then Clefable's Unaware really walled Roaring Moon's attempts at getting a kill, and Toxic Spikes meant continuous damage on Ferenia's side. Overall, the real problem with Ferenia's team was it wasn't hazard proof. There were really no hazard removers on his team, and Sterial just had a much better build. I feel going into that game.
Yeah, balance does tend to no stall slash balance does tend to beat HO
Very much
usually.
so. Very much so. Overall, Stariel using the hazards to his advantage, while Verinia had trouble piloting this team to a good use, as I mentioned, and most of his mons just not doing enough damage for the kills, giving Stariel pretty much the edge in this game. Ultimately won very decisively.
The ceaseless edge.
Cecil's edge. Very, very, he's not a King Gambit PokeArt, please. Oh no, that's a
What?
Samurott.
He brought us.
That's not us. That's a Samurott. What am I thinking? I'm thinking of Count Clear.
What are you thinking? That is what you are thinking, yes.
All right.
And that wouldn't be a joke then.
Next up, Layson versus Pope. Again, this proved that the traditionalist Uber's Mons have never, despite Layson being a VLT veteran and Pope also being a VLT veteran, the more traditional Uber's player won. And I wasn't surprised that this happened. Because,
Yeah, he kind of just stalled Pote to death.
yeah, Layson brought a really, really bulky team. He very, very much dismantled Pote. First, he beat Iron Treads early, removing any hazard removal on Pote's side and poisoning both Kyogre and Koraidon with Clodsire and Toxic Spikes, respectively. Miraidon missed a crucial overheat on turn 35, unable to get the kill on Skarmory. Now, yeah, and towards over the course of that game, Pope did get some kills towards the end there, but the hazard stack was just too much, and being stalled out hurt even worse. Until it came down to Arceus Fairy, who only got taunted and only allowed to hit Judgment because apparently that's the only attack Pope brought to his Arceus Fairy.
Well, that's usually all it runs,
Uh,
attack wise.
and yeah, it was just there to get taunted, and against the resisted Ho-Oh, you aren't really gonna do much of that, which allowed Ho-Oh to Brave Bird and win Layson the game. Alright, next up, Mimi Lucha versus Ziri. Oh no, this game.
No.
Everyone hates this game, me included. So, Hydreigon
This was
praised
supposed to be one of the best matches of the week.
it just
Instead. that it turned into one of the worst.
It's one of the worst, and I don't think either side will benefit in seeing this match again because, oh boy, this matchup was painful. Hydreigon paying dividends early by crit Okoing Keldeo at turn 3, later flinching Zapdos at turn 12 for the kill the next turn. Mimilucha's Mamoswine just wrecked Ziri afterward, Terra Grassing to avoid to to resist the Azumarill hits, but it didn't need to because it crit O-coded with Trailblaze on turn 16, and then crit Okoing Iron Crown the turn after. And then Okoing the Terra Steel Haxorus the next without any crit, but it was still a Terra Steel Oko Earthquake, which pretty much guaranteed Mimilucha the win.
Yeah, Mimi Lucha got 2 crits in a row, and then that was just it.
Ziri could not play against that, unfortunately, and Mimilucha decisively won that. Well,
I know some
decisively.
complained that some complained that the first crit was also extremely detrimental. It
It,
was.
it
It was kind of
was.
detrimental, but uh I wouldn't say it was as detrimental because Ziri, point is Ziri predicted the Keldeo switch and went for the Draco. So even if that Keldeo wouldn't be dead, that would be a very low health Keldeo, and it might have just died on a few more turns of going into rocks.
Yeah. Which proved very detrimental to Ziri's end. And yeah, this just proved to be a very, very unfortunate game for him.
For both sides, but more so Ziri
Yeah,
because
I feel bad.
that it just wrecked any chance he had of coming back.
0-1 Ziri. Never let that happen again. Next up, Trade versus Temp. 0-1 Trade, though. Well, it was against Temp, who had an amazing team. I was really happy with the build Temp brought. For example, turn 13, Body Press Volcanion. What? It was able to take out Cyclizar there with ease.
Micoy, that's not what was special about the Volcanion.
What was?
There's actually a fair amount of Volcanion that run body pressed, and because of Cyclizar too.
Wow, okay.
Did you happen to notice it outsped the Cyclizar?
Yeah, what was that? Like I
It was Scarf body press.
okay, very clever.
Yeah, you see, they run body press sometimes, but
But
that's usually when it's a more bulky one.
I was expecting
But
like a
that was scarfed.
scarf body press Volcania. Interesting again, as I mentioned, very interesting strat by Temp. Temp again mostly got the better hand in this game though, using Gengar very effectively. Encoring trades Suicune, who couldn't find any footing in this game, was able to nasty plot and outpredict with the Protect and the Substitute and the Sludge Wave in order to win in dominant fashion. The
Yeah,
Aryu,
just kind of encored it, nasty plot up, and one shot it. That's it.
yeah, Temp doing that RU seasonal record proud. Next up, Skier Dude versus Swineup Fan. Very slow game, this one. Turn 36 happened and Swineup Fan switched in his Mean Shao against an against an oncoming attacking Crocodile, which proved very costly for Skier Dude. I don't know. Oh no, against Swineup Fan, I mean. And yeah, it was just a very slow game with Swinefan finally claiming kills by beating Monkey Dory and having Rhyperior beat the dangerous threat Crocodile, and his Slowbro beating Skier's own Slowbro by a crit Psychic Noise, allowing to beat the Mean Xiao and win.
Wait, crit psychic noise?
Yeah, it was a crit Psychic Noise.
On to what?
The skier dude's own slow bro.
It didn't matter, right?
I guess it didn't, but still.
You know, it did almost twice that the turn before without critting, right?
I know, but still, it was worth pointing out. I know it
Not
didn't matter.
really, but okay.
It was worth pointing out. But still, Swine of
No, it
Fan had the
wasn't.
win. Yeah, point is,
Yes.
Swine of Fan had the win against Skier Dude, and you proving to be quite the tier for Swine of Fan, as we've seen in last BLTs before.
As we've seen in several previous BLTs, as a matter of fact.
Mhm. PU is next. Druid versus Rofna. Druid very strong, looked very strong in this game. Starting with the letting Mudbray Wall Psychic its Mudsdale, while Staraptor's attacks with Recoil and Rocky Helmet being its downfall. Slowbro Galar really was the MVP in this one, tanking a +2 Draco Meteor from Tatsugiri in order to kill it, evening
Which
poison.
is crazy.
It's just crazy to think about. As you know, Tatsugiri, a very special attacker, very good special attacker. Slowbro Galar can barely tank a hit against the +2 of that variety. But the good thing about that one was it got to poison a +6 belly drums to Titan for it to not be a threat. I was really hoping that we would get the belly drum sweep, but unfortunately that wasn't the case.
Nah, he wouldn't have gotten it anyway, I don't think. Let's see. When did he set it up? Yeah, he still had Tauros at full health by the time it set up.
Yeah,
Not and like so obviously that would have came in, intimidated it, and not like Ice Shard would kill after an intimidate and it not being not very effective. So like plus it outsped.
yeah, which was very good on his side. Druid's Tauros, voice crack, cleaned the end game with beating Rafna's own Terrawater Tauros with CC and Trailblaze for the win. Again, Druid just having the really strong game here. Next up, we have Hacker versus Polio Ariosto. Again, please tell me in the comments, how do you pronounce that damn name? It's French.
It's what? That
Not
doesn't
French.
sound
Not
French.
French. What am I thinking? Jeez. Um,
Jeez, Micoy.
jeez.
That's
Why am I?
culturally
I'm
insensitive.
sorry. I'm sorry. That might have been stereotyping. I'm sorry. Turn 14 saw a high jump kick miss to Marini, costing Polio his Minfu early as he got poisoned afterwards. Mm. Then the terrifying Minfu was MVP on Hacker's team, allowing it to be just a constant deal breaker in the late game, except against Volabai, who missed an air slash, killing Mudbray to kill it by a heavy slam, earning Hacker the win. I thought it was very impressive. Polo made some interesting plays, but I don't think it was enough against Hacker.
Yeah, he didn't play badly.
Yeah, but Hacker proved to be the better player there, which was to be expected.
Well, I think well, Poyo also got a little unlucky at some turns. Like there was a high jump miss, and
Yeah.
that was pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next up, we have Ineffable versus SMB. Now, during the start of this game, I feel like Ineffable wasted that Terra at the beginning, using it on Glamora, who, yes, beat Goldango, but it was just killed after by Amoonguss's Clear Smog. I feel like you should have saved that Terra in the long run.
Yeah, but he got to take down the Golden Ghost, so
Which
not
is good.
not a complete waste.
Good, yes, but I feel like if you have kept that Terra in the long game, it would have benefited you more, and you could have saved that first potential surprise against SMB. But beating the Goldengo was first
No,
priority at that
honestly,
turn.
I don't feel like that was the main problem. I don't feel like the Terra usage there was the main problem. I have a problem with another play in a Fable made very late in the game, which I think just outright cost them.
Well, Chiyu also disappointed, in my opinion, unable to get the kill on Porygon 2, missing Overheat the next turn, which was unfortunate, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
Chiyu could have been a real threat. And then, after Terra Water, Amoonguss, and Incineroar stalled out Chiyu to let it die via Life Orb, Como set up with Iron Defense, which allowed SMB to body press Ogerpon to a KO, and Incineroar got the final kill on Latios, giving him the win.
Yeah, see, I think in a Fable misplayed. Why would you
Also, too, but I don't
not
know how to
aim
formulate that.
for Como in that turn?
Right?
That thing, you can't. You just lose to Incineroar.
Yeah. Why didn't? Why?
Why
I,
would
I
you?
feel. I feel like yeah. I feel like that was the particular turn as well.
Like, why would you not? Why would you not, attack the Como that turn and then Ivy Cudgel into the Incineroar slot? Look,
Right.
I know Amoonguss came in that turn, but like, is Amoonguss even a threat when you have like
Latios.
presumably, uh, well, I guess, but I was gonna say when you have when you probably have a grass move and it's Terra Water.
Yeah, that was also kind of a deal breaker as well. I noticed, but thank you for pointing it out because I don't know how to formulate that. But yeah, he should have attacked Komo on the last turn, saving himself the irony, so that he can just kill the Ivy Incineroar later with Ivy Cudgel. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Both of your mons have protect. It's not an issue if Incineroar comes in to fake out.
Yeah.
Especially because it's low, so it literally cannot aim for the Ogre Pawn with fake
Yeah.
out. Or
Yep.
it just dies.
Yep. Next up, we have
So yeah, why did he not aim for Como? If he did, I'm pretty sure he just won,
yeah.
and
Yeah. So
that'd be it.
yeah. Next up, we have the monotype game. We have Mana versus Sasha. Fire versus fire. This game was, and it was lit, as the kids say. To start with, Heatran not contending well against Cinderace and Ogerpon, although Ceruledge got the better end in turn 6 to 7 when it beat Ogerpon later on by the Poltergeist and the Shadow Sneak. Mata's gouging fire had a lucky break in that game, as it was not confused against its outrage spree against the Heatran and the Rotom, which was very interesting. I really thought that at one point it was gonna be confused and hit itself, but no, Mata successfully went on that outrage spree. It was able to tank Cinderace's sucker punch at one point. In the end, though, Modest Cinderace won the game with Gunk Shot, sucker punching the gouging fire in order to win. Yeah, Mata looked strong. I don't think Sasha looked too strong in that game. Hopefully, we get some improvement as the weeks go along. But yeah, this was not a very good litmus test for Sasha going into BLT 11.
Really, I was just distracted by a big boom outside.
Oh, I heard that. It was quite loud.
See, even you heard it.
It was a big boom.
I think that was thunder. I think that was thunder.
It's thunder is coming down on you. Next is the Skeledirges absolutely trouncing Snowbell's doubles, which caught me by surprise. But looking back on it, I don't think Skeledirges are the worst team at that point. I had them ranked last, which was questionable. But in hindsight, it was very questionable. They have really good players. I just didn't know some of these players all too well. And then in the end, they ended up impressing me. For example, one who does not need to be impressed to appreciate the worth of JJ as he beat Yone in the first game of BLT, as he now tends to do, especially with week 2. JJ absolutely destroyed her vault. Initially, he used Kirim to chip Primarina and kill Glamora, using Sucker Punch on Terra Dark and Gambit to kill a potentially dangerous Terra-flying Roaring Moon, and using the Encore Iron Valiant to lock Zamazenta in, set up Swords Dance, and beat Gouging Fire and Zamazenta to win. Any other thoughts?
Not really.
Yeah, JJ destroyed. You'll see that again in week 2, but I won't spoil too much.
You kind of just did, in a way.
God damn it. I ate my own words after as soon as I say it. Exotic versus
Oh
TDNT.
my god.
Was there another big?
Sorry. It's just a really bright flash from outside. I guess it's thundering and lightning out. Oh,
And
there's
I
a big
heard that.
boom.
I
Yeah,
heard that. Alright. This is great to put on the video. Alright, next up, Exotic versus TDNT. A matchup to decide who was the better Madr player.
that's one way to put it. I
Well, that's how I
think
read it
think
when I watched this game. It was Madr is Luck versus Madr in Sauce. Alright. Costly miss by Exotic's Ogre on turn 7 when he had the chance to kill Alamamola, but missed the Power Whip. Very unfortunate. TDNT then burns Exotic's Roaring Moon at turn 12, hindering Exotic momentum even more. And in the end, TDNT just locked Terra Fairy Raging Bolt into Dragon Pulse on a Clefable, um, guaranteeing the win. So yeah, I was really scared for TDNT going into this game, but after this game, not so much.
yeah, he played better and had and was just able to basically chip and whittle down uh all of Exotic's mons, so they were basically all non-threats by the end.
Mm-hmm. Which was very impressive. Next up, SP Ubers. We got Skyu versus FC. FC may have won this, but boy, Skyu impressed me with this one. Um, FC prevented the Gliscor from getting off a poison heal by burning it with the Sacred Fire. Um, I was just generally impressed by Skyu's ability to call switches and well-timed plays, especially in the first half of that game where he even Terra Fairyed Arc Water against an incoming Draco Meteor. That was nice. FC really relied on Ho-Oh to get the kill on Koraidon on turn 45, was pretty noteworthy. And then, despite Necrozma being burned by the Arceus' Will-O-Wisp, still managed to stay in, set up Data Bunch, and Sunsteel Strike both Arceus and Ting Lu to death, while Miraidon beat Sky's Miraidon, giving FC the win. Any other notes? Anyway, any other notes?
I think one of the things that hurt Skyu so badly in that game is his Ho-Oh set.
Oh yeah, what was it?
Well, it was Sub, Earthquake, Brave Bird,
Oh
Sacred
yeah.
Fire.
Oh yeah. I mean, okay, he was relying a bit on that regenerator boost to get back some health and then getting up the substitutes.
Yeah, he didn't have Recover like FC had Recover, and that clearly hurt him in the long game
Yeah,
a lot.
he was relying a lot on his regenerator ability, which worked, but did not work as well as FC did.
Oh my goodness, it's pouring
But
like
anyway,
hard out there.
yeah, but anyway, SC may have won this game, but again, I'm keeping an eye on Skyu. Generally curious to see how he does in the pool because I was impressed. You gotta keep an eye on this guy. Next up, SVUU. We got Just Drew versus Career Ended. I think this was basically decided on preview because Career's team was very weak to Electric.
What?
Very weak to Electric. Drew
We
had
thinking
Volt
of the same game here? Let me. Where is it? It is pretty electric weak.
and Drew had the audacity to bring Volt Switch and Thunder Punch on his team, abusing these moves constantly as soon as Mamoswine was immediately defeated by turn 31. So after Mamoswine was dead, Drew just constantly had Volt Switch and Thunder Punch the rest of Career's Mons because they were very, very weak to Electric, and he just outplayed Career like that. It was a very slow game, very slow, but you know what? Drew proceeded to get the win. The ending saw Greninja, despite being toxic by Toxapex, killed it with Surf after it was questionably Terra Dart.
Yeah, I gotta wonder, did Drew predict the Terra or was he expecting a switch? I'm personally more leaning toward expecting a switch. He probably didn't expect he'd Terra Toxapex at that low health.
With Terra Dart, too, which is a type you don't really see on a lot of Toxapex. I get it. Well, I get why.
Yeah.
I get why it's to prevent
But
the
yeah,
extra
this
sensory.
game was just this game, a lot of it was just a pivoting war, and there wasn't too much fast progress until Greninja killed Pex, and then it was just over.
Yeah, Terra Water as well at the end to win. Yeah, slow game, but happy that Drew got the win. Alright, next up, Geomancy versus Arsenine. 0-1 Arsenine, I see. Oof. That's it was not a very pretty game as well because this was short, hyper offensive, and Mimikyu was just an abhorrent level of threat to Arsenine, losing half his team to Terra Ghost and Shadow Claw and Shadow Sneak.
Yeah, I understand why he terrored his Volcanion, but after he did, there was nothing to stop Mimikyu.
Terra Ghost as well. After, yes, he broke the disguise, but man, was it a threat. Was it a monster in that game?
He wasn't able to break the disguise until he was down to his last Mon, and then that was just also weak to Mimikyu, so it was just too late.
Yeah, 4 Rs9. Lost to a sweep and Mimikyu.
Yeah, well, his team was very weak to it,
Unfortunately so.
and
S
he couldn't utilize a Terra that resisted it because he had already Terra'd.
mm-hmm.
And in fact, that Terra made it worse against the Mimikyu.
Next up, SVNU. We got Acrotix versus Slip. Very even. After the first couple of turns, this game was very even. Until Slip's Braviary successfully dodging a Stone Edge from Rhyperior on turn 8, only to then miss a Heat Wave on Sand/Alola
One with Ice Shard at that.
on turn 19. Yes. Slip's Grimmsnarl, admittedly, looked like a sweeping machine. I really liked it, especially with that set. However, it was burned on turn 27, prevented it from ever truly sweeping, allowing Axortix to slowly stall its death. And then Slowbro just
Oh
got
yeah, I feel like he made a questionable turn that turn when it got burned. Let me go back to the game. Where is it? Uh, here.
anyway.
Yeah, he
What was that?
probably shouldn't have trailblazed a second time,
Yeah,
and
what was
probably
that
just should
set? Was
have.
it Bulk Up, Trailblaze, Spirit Break, something else?
It was Play Rough, Sucker Punch,
Play Rough.
Trailblaze. Bulk Up, Play Rough, Sucker Punch, Trailblaze.
Wow. All right.
He
Again,
probably just should have play roughed on the turn where he went for the second Trailblaze, because then he would have been burned, but Talonflame would at least be dead.
yeah. And then, yeah, Slowbro successfully getting the Scald Burn on Flygon on turn 34. Won Acrotix that game. So,
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
yeah.
So
Acrotix,
a lot of burns this game.
yeah, had a very crucial burns at that.
Yeah.
Next up, we get Avarice versus Sufis in PU. Avarice dominated Sufis here. Now, this is the Avarice that I want to see in BLT. Why the frick has Avarice in past BLTs, he was at his best at that point, but BLT and TLT just had to really hurt. His performances weren't that great. This is the level of Avidus I wanted to see in BLT because he dominated Sufis here.
Yeah, not only that, but I feel like Sufi's team just
It wasn't
couldn't
great.
handle what Avarice brought at all.
It
It
wasn't
just
great.
didn't have any of the assets needed to handle it.
Yeah, it wasn't great because Colossal was a great wall against Screamtail, rapid spinning away the previous Hazard Sufi setup and able to toxic stall it out before dying to Quillfish. Skuntank decisively beating Decidueye and Salazzle, Milotic beating the late game Arcanine to win.
Yeah, I was just confused because, like, what was his Avalug set? Was it not the Custapberry set if it wasn't Boots?
Yeah, I don't. What? Also, why bring Avalugg Hisui in the first place?
Well, you see, it's actually a decent PU suicide lead in which, you live a hit via sturdy, you get rocks up, and then the Custap berry activates and you get to hit something really hard before you die. It's
Boy,
actually a good lead, but yeah, then it just allowed it to kind of it just didn't utilize it and it died.
which was very unfortunate.
It I don't think that really would have made a difference, but like still. Also, Screamtail didn't do shit in this game.
Didn't really didn't. Colossal just kind of walled it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So very unfortunate
and it
there.
was poisoned, so.
So, yeah, very unfortunate there for Sufis. Hopefully, we get to see some improvement. And I fear for the Stuffles that if they're gonna keep them in PU, they might flounder, but we'll see. Next up, L.
Honestly, I think Soupy's team was just kind of bad.
Yep, very bad against Avarice, especially. LC
Yep.
Tempo versus Blihei, and yeah, this was a team. This was a matchup between two relative unknowns, very relative newcomers into BLT, and this one was a Tempo dominance, and I was impressed. I was really impressed with Tempo's skill here. He really got the better hand of Blihei here. We're getting rid of hazards effectively, albeit getting poisoned in the process. Yeah, crit killing
I was a
Stunky.
little
Hmm?
I was a little confused as to why Lihei used taunt on the coughing on turn 3 cuz like don't those things usually run like mostly attacks?
Yeah, coughing does do well in the attacking and also the occasional will-o-wisp. Taunt,
I guess
um,
maybe he thought it would wisp or pain split,
maybe.
but I mean they usually run T-bolt, so
Hmm. Yeah, crit killed Stunky via Lullaby's Brave Bird, which was unfortunate. And then Terra Fire Voltorb just kind of clean against Meanfu and even the Terra Water Fungus via Thunderbolt.
yep.
Very impressed by Tempo. Hopefully, we'll get to see more of. Hopefully, it gets fitted at someone like Hacker or something. Because I'm legit curious how that matchup will go. Next up, SVDOU. We got Akur Kokyo beating Oblivion Wing. Credit where credit is due. Oblivion Wing had a pretty nice start. Rage Powder Amoongus via. He beat the Rage Power Amoongus via the Bleakwind Storm. It then missed against Ogerpon on turn 5, allowing it to Ivy Cudgel and crit kill Entei, crit Oko and Entei at that, and Chiyu to Oko Tornadoes, giving Ocker the early edge in that sequence. And then Terra Normal Dragonite. That was a real looming threat. I think it was Bandit as well. Um,
Yep.
it And Chin Pao really cleaned Chiyu and Ogerpon the next turn, even killing Lando with ease later. In the end, after fake outing to kill Dragonite, Iron Hands and Excalibur took out the Ogerpon and the Chien Pao with close combat and an Ice Shard after sets up with Swords Dance, respectively, winning Akuru the game. Any other thoughts, dear you main PokeArt?
I wouldn't go so far as to call me that nowadays, but not really. You basically summed up what happened.
Next up, as we monetize, Twinkie versus Street Boom. Street Boom really held his own in the beginning, using the Hatcherine's red card to immediately to nuzzle Iron Valiant for Fluttermane to safely kill it, double moonblasting Iron Hands to death, and even tricking Lagging Tail to the Tusk, allowing Primarina to safely kill Great Tusk. So he had a pretty nice start, but ultimately Gallade managed to scrape by with a crit kill on Fluttermane, Psycho cutting the rest to earn Twinkie the win.
Do we know if that crit mattered, though? I
It
mean,
was a crit
it's
kill.
a Fluttermane.
Yeah, it's frail. It's frail, but I don't know. Maybe it was
Also,
HP.
Street Boom may have just kind of choked. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely feel like he choked
Why
at
did he
first.
switch?
I don't know. I really don't know. I thought if he hadn't switched, he would have the game won.
Psycho Cut might have been a roll, but like that is a roll you take because you just outright lose if you switch.
Right, right, and yeah.
Yeah, let me go to the turn. The Primarina versus Gallade sequence.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Psycho Cut did 49 and then 48. Primarina was on 50 after the second Psycho Cut and second Draining Kiss, I guess. So like I'd say there was a decent chance of living. I don't know the role. But point is
Yeah,
there was definitely a chance of winning, and you definitely take that chance. You definitely take that chance because like you don't freaking switch in. You don't freaking sack your Iron Valiant. Or what are you, stupid?
that's stupid.
Sorry.
Maybe.
That's sorry. That's very rude of me. But like, why would you do
I
that?
mean, I think he may have foreseen an easier out at that situation. So he was like, I'll switch. I'll make the most out of it. Maybe he's gonna set up. Maybe he's gonna switch his own. But nah, that was just not the
Like
right play.
in this situation, this should not be losable.
Yep.
I'm sorry, it should
Especially,
not be losable.
I thought.
You stay in and either get lucky and live, or you die and send something in else safely. Like, Iron Valiant. And then his Gallade dies. Wait, actually, do we know what the item on this Gallade is?
I don't know. I actually don't know that.
Hmm.
Why? Would it matter for a specific item for Gallade?
Well, if it's Scarf, then yes.
Ah. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. We'll have to clarify that.
But yeah, Iron Valiant often runs Scarf, and we can assume that Flutter was probably like, you know, Specs.
Mm-hmm. Which
But yeah, unless this Gallade is in fact scarfed, why would you switch?
mm, again, it may have been
No,
an
actually,
easy.
you don't even switch even if it is scarfed. Well, just why would you switch? That's stupid.
Mm.
I'm sorry, Street Boom, but that was stupid.
Yeah, to be blunt. Yeah, Twinkie earned that one. Street Boom. Hopefully, you make better plays, just not the way that you did. We thought that would be a winnable game by you, but it just didn't. The risk there
Oh, that
paid
should have
off.
been way more than winnable. Look at the type matchup for crying out loud.
Yeah, yeah. Would have been well. All right, final one for week one. The Resort City Rufflets beating the Lord Society. Congratulations,
Oh,
Bear.
before we do that, I'm very hungry. My mom will come in at some point.
On we go now to the Resort City Rufflets versus the Lore Society. First off, in SVOU, Maverick Shooters beating Tear Acid. A lot of people kind
Anyone surprised? I don't
yeah,
think anyone should be surprised.
I don't think anyone should have either. Maverick. Um, Care to elaborate on what team? Okay, can you actually? Because I looked at the team and I was thought, that seems pretty convincing. But do you want to elaborate on what kind of team Maverick brought against here?
Well, he brought a team that is apparently very good into hyper offense.
All right, I won't
He
pry too
expected
much.
T-
Hmm?
he expected Tier to bring hyper offense, which is pretty reasonable for since it's Tier. I think he does that a lot. So he posted a team that he said was good into hyper offense. This.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're sending me the team. Anyway, Samrat was hampered early due to a trick from Slowking gaining the Black Sludge and missing the Ceaseless Edge on Zamazenta on turn 6. Very hampered Samrat pretty early on. Wasn't the greatest use of Samrat IMO. Gliscor was pretty much the MVP on this team, able to Terra Normal early on, and after Sword's Dance was able to kill the Ursaluna to become a useful tool later on. Tyr Zamazenta tried to be useful, Terra firing, and was able to get some body presses in, killing Mav's own Zamazenta, and benefiting off of Hatchery's healing wish. But Sinistra was able to tank its crunches and do good Shadow Ball damage to kill it in return. In the end, Moltres burned the King Gambit. Gliscor picked up the last of the kills for Mav to win. I wasn't surprised. Were you?
Nope. Also, apparently, what Maverick brought was a team from that was a Belor team.
Yeah, that was the point I was trying to make. Yeah, Mav brought a Balor team, which okay, okay. From the way I see it, this is something Balor would use. Yeah.
Yeah, and Belor's like, where did you get that?
Yeah, there was a bit of banter in the thirds after Mav put the win up. All right, next up, Piyush versus Enzo Nana. Terra Flying Roaring Moon was a real early threat for a while, but Clefable managed to tank its acrobatics at full to chip it in range for Samurott to kill it by the Sucker Punch, which was a nice play from Piyush. I really thought the Terra Flying Roaring Moon was gonna be a monster there, but no, the
Did
Sam.
you happen to notice what happened to the Roaring Moon after it hit the Clefable?
No, what happened?
Did you notice it slowly losing health
Oh,
somehow?
Sticky Barb. That's right. It was
That's
tricked away.
right, it was Sticky Barb Clefable.
Yeah, it tricked away the Sticky Barb into the Roaring Moon,
No, it
which
didn't trick it. It didn't trick it. It never used trick.
oh, never mind. But it was able to gain the Sticky Barb, and that forced Roaring Moon to slowly diminish its health, while Clefable managed to chip it, and after dying, Samurott led the charge and then Sucker Punch it to death.
Yep. Also,
Terragrass.
Micoy, since you seemed a little confused, basically, if you touch a mon that has Sticky Barb and you're itemless, you gain the Sticky Barb.
That's right, sticks to you. It makes
Pretty
sense.
sure Sticky Barb Clefable is specifically a strategy to counter Roaring Moon.
Or any other breaker for that matter. Any other dangerous breaker,
Well,
but
no,
Roaring
you
Moon
know, it's
specifically.
it's mostly for itemless breakers
Yeah,
like Roaring Moon.
like Roaring Moon with the booster energy and all that. Terragrass Ogerpon, though, was the MVP, able to crit kill Zamazenta at a real pivotal point, as well sweep the late game with Ivy Cudgel for Piyush to take the win. That,
Yeah,
hmm?
this was a pretty easy game. No.
Yep. Not gonna lie, this was a real easy game. And I was worried because at that point you guys were what, 5-4? Was it five to
Uh,
four or no? Was something different?
I think we were 4-4 by this point,
Oh, that's right, because Piyush and Richard
or
really.
4-3. I don't remember.
That's right, Piyush, uh, because Piyush and Richard Millie Plain were the ones that were credited in gaining the wins and the success for able to hold
Ah,
back the
yeah.
game.
Then yeah, right. Yeah, we were 4-4 at the time, and
Yeah,
Piyush made it 5-4.
very good, very good, very good. Speaking of Richard, here's his game now. Richard Millie Plain versus Ice Master, in which, oh boy, this build is crazy. Terra Fire. Terrafire Calyrex Ice was the MVP. Terra-ing before Ice could get off a Will-O-Wisp and getting the Trick Room the next, and Ice really couldn't do anything, and proceeded to sweep most of his team. Very, very convincingly, too, under Trick Room.
My only possible concern was that I know Ice likes to run like the slowest Tingloos imaginable so that they literally underspeed Calyrex and Trick Room.
Yep.
But like it was way too healthy for it to do anything. Although Earthquake did 45.
Yep.
That did it quite a bit.
Did hell of a bit.
But it was too late because because by that point it was at the point of OKOing a Zacian with Glacial Lance.
At full health, too. It was a straight up Oko.
Yeah.
And, Chilling Nay, proving the boost was, helped him. Miraidon, after tanking Koraidon's outrage, then used Dragon Pulse to kill it and killed Ho-Oh at the end for Richard to win. So yeah, very HO win by Richard.
Yeah, Cali Ice just kind of went in and destroyed everything. We
Next,
knew this, and that's what Richard played into.
next up, this one is a game you will not look fondly back in hindsight. Dunox versus Trogba. Trogba
I'm gonna
first.
get PTSD from this game for the rest of the tour.
Trogba get off the lucky hit on the first couple of turns. First burning the Excadrill with Will-O-Wisp, that was a good play. Then Volt switching to a crit on Slowking on turn 6. But give him credit, killing the Terra Steel Latios with Drain Punch Ursaluna was kind of neat.
He gets no credit.
He gets no credit. Well, the crit on Slowking was the first of this particular matchup. Dunox started to come back around turn 42, where he managed to hit Hurricane Confusion on Ursaluna, poisoning the Zapdos on turn 45 to straight up give examples. Those were nice. Dunox is starting to come back, and Dunox has proven that he's the go-to UU player that he once was. Okidogi looked great in position for substitute and poison jab, killing Zapdos. But static.
And not only that, but literally outstalling the roosts.
Yes, it outstalled the Roost very well, and Okidogi looked very, very good, killing the Zapdos. But static. Static was activated on turn 62, paralyzing on the next turn after. And that was very, very crucial. It cost Dunox the game.
That was completely costly.
Cost Dunox the entire game as Ursaluna safely killed it with EQ afterward. And yeah.
No, no, no. Not only that. Not only that. It wasn't just that. It was actually even worse because you see, he didn't even immediately attack the Okidogi. He used bulk up.
He used bulk, which was a curious choice. I was really hoping to wonder, hey, isn't this enough setups? Why aren't you attacking right now? Like, come on. I get trying to tank. I get trying to tank with the defense.
You don't bulk up there.
You would straight up
attack.
You would straight up
well,
attack.
I guess maybe. Okay. Well, maybe he did need to bulk up maybe Earthquake didn't kill otherwise, but
But
like still,
still,
if the
yeah.
para didn't happen that turn,
Yeah.
we
What
just
what
won.
yeah, what move did he click, I wonder? Was it that the actual drain punch? Was it another bulk up?
No, he probably clicked poison jab because there's nothing else you can click.
Right.
And it surely killed. It surely killed.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, very unfortunate. And yeah, this haunted you guys for the rest of the week. Chogba's win.
Yes, this literally haunts us.
But
Cause
correct.
this cause this lucky fricker got so well. I just called him Lucky Fricker. I don't need to call him Lucky
He's just
again.
luck.
You get the
He's just
idea. He
lucky.
got so very lucky.
He just got very lucky, and that enabled him to play again. He get one up over one of the best UU players, and he's gonna do it again this week.
I don't know about one of the best UU players, because Dunox, I don't think we even drafted him to play UU initially.
Hmm, interesting. But yeah, very lucky, very lucky. Next up, SBRU. Now this one definitely the luck went to your favor here. Mindos versus Ampha.
What makes you say that? I
Well,
think we just played better.
well, let me tell ya. Let me talk to ya about Mindos' victory against Ampha here. Very offensive display by both players. Cyclazar missed a crucial Draco Meteor on turn 9, preventing Suicune from dying and then resting afterwards.
Uh, do we know if that even killed?
I don't know. Cyclazar builds are whack. And against Suicune, even
It
so.
probably didn't. Suicune's tanky as hell. It probably didn't
Yeah.
kill.
But yeah, credit where
I'd
credit is
say
due.
I'd say the only real instance of luck we got was maybe the crit on Rhyperior. Although then Nampha decided to sack it, so I don't know.
But, credit where credit's due on your part because you went ahead and swept the endgame with Thunderous using the Agility Nasty Plot set to really clean everything in Ampha's side. And despite even the Clef Key Toxic Orb trick, you were still able to get in there, get that agility, get that Nasty Plot, and just wreck.
Honestly, how Ampha played kind of confused me a little.
Really.
Cause, cause like, well, he sacked the Rhyperior. Uh, I guess we crit it and it was low, but still,
Yeah.
you don't want that thing to get hit at all, do you?
Nah, not really. Next up, S.
And
Hmm?
wait, I wasn't done.
Go ahead, go.
I found the I found Ampha's use of Terra to be odd because what
Really?
if I told you like look, I get he Terra to live the high horsepower. That's understandable. But what if he gunk shotted that turn? Gunk shot killed even neutrally.
I mean, we was trying to probably get off a safer thing by, yeah, the high horsepower really wouldn't do much. So yeah, Altera here, but yeah, the gunk shot, bro.
Yeah, and I'm surprised you didn't mention Meme Dose's end game.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't. You explain it.
Well, I can explain it more in depth. How about you go through it first? We're a little unfortunate considering who it was against. Like he was gonna attack the Cyclizar, but nope. He was gonna do it again, but nope. And he was and then he was gonna get a chance to hit the Fizendipity, but nope. And that just
No,
died.
Aiden with Jirachi, able to like tank the pivot moves and then just let Thundy do its thing in the late game. So that was probably a good
Yeah,
move in hindsight.
Thundy came in on the Zapdos Galar, and you're probably noticed, and you may have noticed that this Thundy took hits very well.
Yeah, it did. I wonder what the build on this thing was.
Oh, this was a bulky Thundy.
Bulky, nasty, plot, agility, thunderous. Really? Okay.
Yep, with
Uh,
Terra Blast,
yeah, Terra Blast, but Terra
Terra
Blast.
Flying Terra Blast.
Nice. All right. That was the idea.
So yeah, and in which Mimdos terra'd because once the poison, once the toxic from the orb went up, he's like, "Oh crud! I know what he's about to do. I know what he's trying to do. He's gonna send in the Zapdos, bait the Thunderbolt, switch in the Cyclizar, so to stall out the Thunderous and have it die. But but he's just like, how about I just Terra Flying Terra Blast lol and
Lol.
kill you both now?
Yeah. And that was the end of that game. Mimdos really showing he subbed in for Lime because yes, this was originally Lime versus Ampho. Mimdos picked up the scrap and won.
Yeah, I was honestly worried when I heard Meme Dose was the one subbing in, but that was a good game.
All
He
right.
played well.
A good game for Mimdos, yes. All right. Next up.
Hey.
Next up. Again, another insanely hyped matchup only turned to rather shit. It's Wadley versus Danny. It was evenly paced for
Hey,
a
that was still a good match. We got a little lucky, but it was still a good match, no?
well, it was evenly paced around the beginning until turn 18, where Reuniclus missed the focus blast on the Magna Zone, throwing off Danny's momentum for the rest of the game. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, that is true. He really did need that to hit.
He did.
And according to Wadley, the Magnezone actually lived that.
He did. Really? Even at max special attack.
Supposedly, yes.
Assuming it was not max special attack, probably life orb Reuniclus.
No, it was a bulky Reuniclus Micoy. It was like a bulky assault vest, I think.
Okay. Okay. After that, though, Wadley started to outpace Danny a bit more, using the Magnezone specs to beat Reuniclus. Muck Alola tanking a Terra Water snipe shot from Inteleon, and then Mean Xiao finished off the Crocodile for the win.
Yep. Yeah, it I don't so Wadley says the focus blast didn't kill, but there was also a leech seed miss earlier, so those two combined. Yeah, that did it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
But overall, Wadley, I feel like he played somewhat better.
After the
They
fact,
both played
yes.
well,
After the
but
fact, yes, Wadley performed
But
better.
Wadley just played very dominantly when he saw he when he got the momentum.
Yeah.
He capitalized it to the max.
All right. Next up. Ah, no. PU. TGA versus Eternal Ocean. Oh no. What happened here?
Uh, we
TGA.
were a little stupid when it came to the Duraludon. I think we forgot that
TGA.
it's actually quite fast.
TGA's Braviary was doing great. Killing the Jockstricity, majorly doing it was doing damage on that Duraludon. And then he sacked it to a Draco Meteor. I'm like, what? Why would you do that?
Yeah, the whole team was like, "What? Why would you do that?"
Literally my exact comments. Like, I was really confused on the level. I was really confused on that play, TGA. Better explain.
Look, I think he forgot Duraludon actually outspeeds
Yeah, it
Braviary.
outspeeds and yeah, it just basically kills at that point with that Draco Meteor.
I mean, when you think about it, it doesn't make any sense that a giant metal behemoth thing should
It's a
outspeed a
steel.
literal eagle.
It's a steel building. Okay, alright.
Yeah, that shouldn't be outspeeding a literal eagle.
Eternal Ocean then used that Grimmsnarl to great effect, beating out the Scyther by using Terra Steel to wall its dual wing beats and sucker punching it to death, which was very well. played by Eternal Ocean. I'll give him credit. And then Gligar, then Toxic Milotic, which allowed Eternal Ocean to set up Scream Tail well for the sub Calm Mind Boom Burst, despite the hazes, picking up that win.
Initially, the entire team was scared of Toxtricity. They're like, "Oh no, Tox fricks us."
Hmm.
But then Eternal Ocean just kind of let it die. So we're like, "Let's go!"
Yeah. I mean,
But
that
then
wasn't the
as it
threat,
turns out,
clearly.
a different type of Tox fricked us.
Toxic on your Gligar against the
Yes.
Milotic. Yeah.
So by the beginning of the game, we were saying Tox fricks us, and by the end of the game, we were also saying Tox fricks us.
Just gotta be more specific when you're saying talks. Alright, next up, Elfuson versus Quinn. To start, counter Mudbray easily dispatched Meanfu, giving Elfuson that immediate edge. Elfuson then proceeded to get more crit kills, first on turn 10 against Stunky, then on turn 12 against Growlithe Hisui, before outspeeding Lullaby with his own Lullaby to win that game.
Yeah, the Stunky one definitely mattered.
Yes,
I think I think so.
yes,
Um,
yes, it did.
although I feel like the knockoff crit, it mattered, but I don't feel like that one mattered as much because like either way, it would have been very low and it would have lost its scarf.
Mm-hmm. And that's why Elfuson picked up
So
that
like
win.
we could just set something else in and kill it with ease, you know?
Yep.
So yeah, I feel like the Stunky crit was probably the worst. Were there any other ones that happened?
Well, the turn 12 crit against the Growlithe was also pretty notable.
That's exactly what I just said.
Oh, sorry.
That's
I
exactly what
thought you
I
were
was
mentioning
just
the
referring
Stunky.
to.
I thought you were mentioning the Stunky. Okay. Yeah, that's basically it. What
Oh,
happened?
did I? Oh, I guess I didn't make that clear, did I? I mentioned both.
Yes. Okay. Yes. All right. Next up, DOU. Loud Winner versus Railgun. Yeah.
Wait,
D-
before you move on to that, I just want to say, even without the crits, I'm pretty sure Elfuzon had this.
I mean, he was playing better.
Yes, he was,
All
and
right.
he had the edge already, thanks to the very big momentum boost early on with counter.
All right. Next up, SPDOU. We got Loud Winner versus Railgun. Oh boy. Diancie, major player in this game. Diancie was a threat, using Trick Room to have to its advantage by allowing the partner mons to get up attacks and even Terra Flying to resist that Ogerpon's power whip so Lando can safely kill it via Sludge Bomb. And
Look, no one on our team understood that play.
really?
We're like, why did he not Ivy cudgel it?
I mean, was it safe for it to do an Ivy Cudgel? I think it might have.
Yeah,
I
yes,
think it might
and I mean, virtually all of Diancie's Commentaras resist grass, and not to mention, Power Whip can miss.
have.
So
Or
we
can
were
miss.
all thinking cudgel was the play there.
Hmm.
Hell, maybe tearing the Ogerpon there wouldn't have hurt either.
Right? Because you got that boost, and then yeah, the Ogerpon would
We
have.
get a special defense. Yeah, we get the attacking boost, so to make sure to kill the Diancie.
Yep,
And that way we don't die to Lando, which is what I was concerned about that turn.
yep, yep. Anyway, in the end, Cresselia setting up the Calm Mind to resist both Chiyu and Indidi's attacks, and Landera's support helped out Luisin with a nice beam to allow Werner's own round on Landera's win Railgun the game. Very
In
convincingly.
theory, he could have also Ivy cudgeled the Lando. and not left it alone, since
Alright.
Lando was a threat that turn.
Yeah.
But then,
It was the
Trick
Articuno.
Room could have gone up it, but I guess he didn't actually use it that turn, did he?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, final game. Also the longest one at 148 turns.
No.
I think. Fat Batman.
Yes.
Fat Batman versus Siphicon. Well, I went in detail in this one. First off, Articuno's freeze dry carried Siphicon for most of the early game, as Slowking and Primarina were majorly chipped from that move. As Fat Batman wasn't really aggressive enough in his plays, I really thought that, oh, he was going to be Articuno. Articuno was out, it had sub, it had roost. I feel like Fat Batman could have really, just start attacking and breaking the sub so that Siffy would have to play with a dumb
No, not
sweeper.
really. Not really. That was definitely not what he was supposed to do there. In
Okay.
fact, my team, we were saying what he was supposed to do there, and that was just alternating between regen mons.
I guess, yeah. You could have outstalled it as well to really pressurize
Just
Siphicon.
waste its freaking PP.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a threat, Articuno. Around turn 30, though, Fat Man did start to play better, but not by much. Encoring the Articuno, who was placing a substitute, predicting for a Dragonite switch with Walking Wake were good ideas. Although, there was a bad switch on turn 50, wasting Ogerpon to a freeze dry, which kinda cost Fat Batman in the long run.
Oh, that was very costly because after that we couldn't encore the Articuno, which is really bad.
It's really bad. And yeah, Fat Batman after that point, Fat Batman then tried to stall out the Articuno, so he'd run out of freeze dries by constantly switching into the Slow King or the regen mons, as you mentioned. Tanking
No, actually, I think he was mainly just wanting him to run out of roosts.
yeah, I saw
Freeze
that.
Dry has a lot of PP.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, he wouldn't have had with Haze though, because Haze is like 48. So that was also kind of a yeah. So Slow King constantly switching to it to tank, and then out again to predict another move, which worked better for him. So yeah, after that long sequence that went absolutely nowhere for 80 turns, Lando managed to get a crit on Slow King at turn 143, costing Fat Batman his special wall and the game to an extent as he lost momentum going forward and then left Toxapex to lose to Dragonite.
That didn't really that didn't change anything though.
Yeah,
That crit didn't mean anything.
yeah, it
Are
didn't
you
mean anything.
forgetting
It
that
didn't.
Slow King was that Slow King didn't have any PP left, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, it
It
didn't
got
have any
stalled
PP.
out.
Yeah, it didn't have any PP. It was just basically there to stall. And I even made the argument that, well, he could have probably kept that Slow King, as a reliable check. It didn't have any PP, but you could just easily switch it out to make the freeze tries go even faster and the
Not
PP
in that
consumption.
position. I mean, you can't. I mean, if the Lando's already in, you can't do anything about that.
Well,
You
yeah,
can't switch in anything else if it's
which is
already in.
yeah, which is which is very unfortunate. As Sifigon clearly had the advantage at that end, thanks to that Articuno, ultimately picking up that win in that regard.
But yeah, I feel Fat Batman should have that Ogrepon switch. It had he made that one turn earlier, that was a good play. He made it a turn
Yeah.
too late and lost it as a result. He
Which,
probably expected Articuno was gonna roost. That makes sense, but
yes.
you shouldn't switch it in when it's already behind the sub.
Yeah, it would be prime for attacking at that turn, and so that one really
Yeah,
cost
yeah. Like
Fat
Siffy
Batman.
might probably saw that coming.
So yeah, unfortunate for Fat Batman to have played with a hook by a disadvantage at that point, but that's Mons for you, and that's Monotype for you, especially when you're fighting against
Another thing
Articuno.
is that there were a few times where I think Fat Batman should have went for Draco Meteor instead of you know whatever else the Walking Way carried.
Flamethrower.
he wasn't quite aggressive enough, and
Right? Yeah.
also the fact that Wake was Scarf really sucked here.
Yes. Yeah. If it
Had
had
that
been
been a
voice,
Specs Wake, that
Specs,
was a game over. That was
which,
game over if that was a Specs Wake. We just straight up won.
yeah, unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Specifically picked up that win there.
Yeah.
All right, that brings us to the end of the BLT Week One. Kindly announce the winner of predictions, PokeArt.
Oh yeah. Like, do you want the winner overall or just between us two?
Between us two, because none of these boys count. I'm being mean. Because yours weren't on video form. At least us, between us two, we can easily announce it. All I did
Okay,
was
so
try.
the winner is Micoy with 30 out of 40. Not bad at all.
That's like a
That's
70. Yeah,
75.
yeah, that's a 75%, which I'm very proud of. And
And I got 20 out of 30, which is better than a good amount of the other people who predicted, but 66, that's okay.
yeah, that's good. That's good enough. Now, on to week two, shall we?
Yeah.
And this time, Pokemon, don't forget to note them as we're saying them. All right. First off, Phantom Trout versus the Sunny Shore
I
Snorlax.
already have it pulled up,
All right, good.
so I can't forget.
Phantom Trout versus the Sunny Shore Snorlaxes. First off, we got SVOU. If I can scroll properly, there you are. SVOU, we got Botsy versus Ferenia. Now look, I really wanted Ferenia to pull off the upset, but I just can't. Last week was just not it for me. And Botsy looked dominant in his match against Velvet, so I have to pick Botsy on here.
No, you don't.
What? Okay, what's your prediction then?
I'm going for Enya. I,
Alright.
I mean, Fre- look, I mean, Ferenia's team was pretty bad into Stereals, okay?
Yeah. I really hope he gets like. I hope his team prep is a little bit better here because he's facing another pretty established OU player. But I feel like again, Ferenya might be the better player if the game plays out exactly as he intended. But Botsy's a very strong opponent, so I really wouldn't discount him on that. So yeah, I'm picking
Yeah,
Botsy.
I just think Ferenia needs to not bring hyper offense and lose to Stall.
Yeah, and it, Botsy brought stall again. I think last week against Velvet. So yeah,
Yes, he did.
SVOU. We got 3D versus Mimikyu Stardust. Both players lost last week.
Oh,
But this is a very good game.
oh.
This is a very good matchup. I think both players looked well. Neither of them won their game, but I feel like Mimikyu Stardust really impressed me. Despite losing against Diago Nunes, I think he looked the stronger in defeat. 3D just had a pretty unlucky matchup against Suzuya. So I think I'm gonna go with Mimikyu Stardust.
I'll go with Mimikyu Stardust too because yeah, they impressed me last week too, despite
Mm.
losing.
All right, Mimikyu Stardust for both of us. Let's move on to SV Ubers 7U992 versus Genius from Hoenn, and I would like to mention because he mentioned it in before Circuit Champion plus beat Hoenn in semis. Lazy Bum predicts. I mean, yes, Hoenn
Oh yeah,
Septile.
that's all you really need to say, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Lightning will strike twice, man. Like 7U992 proved strong. I think he's gonna be stronger in this one. So I'm saying 7U. What about you?
Yeah, I already noted 7U992 under both of us, Micoy.
Good. Good. Next up, SVOU. A matchup I really like. Ricochet versus Mimi Lucha. I really like this matchup. This is between both players who are extremely well versed in UU. And Mimi Lucha, despite, getting a very hacksy win over Ziri last week, still is a very good player. I don't know why you people bought him for like 3K at so late in the draft, but Mimi Lucha could be one of the goats here in UU if he does play to the hype that he's gotten over the years in UU. Ricochet, we know his skill. We know how well he can play in UU. So this one's a toughie, but I think I'm gonna go with Mimi Lucha on this one.
I'm also going Mimi Lucha.
Hmm.
Also, off topic, but is it a coincidence that we're predicting the Phantom Trope matches and I see a spider on my ceiling?
Oh God, terrifying. Is that
Yeah,
foreshadowing?
I'm scared of spiders. I'm a little unsettled at the moment.
I think that should be a warning sign that the Phantom Trope might win here against Alexis. Well, we'll see.
It's moving. I don't like that.
Oh God. Next, well, let's predict faster so you can get that spider off. SVRU. Just Franco versus Arcanine numbers.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
90,
an
90 to
hmm.
10. 90 to 10, 95 to 5. What is our ratio here, folks?
Can 100 to 0 count?
Watch as we say this and then Arcanine just ends up beating Franco anyways.
You said you think lightning will strike twice for the favored player, but no, that's an analogy you use for someone who's unfavored and pulled an upset already. But here, I think lightning would be striking once if Arcanine numbers managed to beat Franco somehow.
And end
You
possibly
know,
if
the
Franco.
odds of lightning striking are incredibly low.
Yeah. And just Franco is still undefeated even after from last year's BLT. Franco went undefeated.
Oh
He's
my
gonna
god, you're right.
he might go
Oh
undefeated.
god.
If he goes undefeated here, then if Arcanine numbers is the one in 9-1 against Franco, then that would be the big surprise. But yeah, Franco,
It'd be
super.
one thing if this was Arsenine, but no, it's Arcanine.
Wow, putting more salt into that wound. Next up, SVNU, we got Stories versus Skier Dude.
I'm going stories here.
Yeah, I think the matchup here is very interesting, but I think Stories has the advantage. She did get unlucky last time. I will. Yeah, she definitely got unlucky last time, but I think bringing. Well, if I would like to make a suggestion, bring the Dunsparce again and see how really powerful that the Dunsparce is. But that's just my suggestion. You don't have to bring it if you don't want to. But yeah, um, I'm going stories as well. Next up, SVPU. We got Drip Legend versus Druid.
Sure.
I mean, again, this one I tend to question a lot. Like, okay, fair enough that Drip Legend gets another crack at it at PU again, but he's against a very established main here in Druid. Why wouldn't you go
Second best
Druid?
in the pool, arguably.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you go Druid?
Right after Fish, too.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you go Druid in this scenario? Druid all the way. Next up, SPLC, we got Stars Amal versus Hacker. Now, this is what I was talking about in Star Emma's game against Greedy, where he's facing like
Oh, wait a minute. I
established.
just remembered. Didn't you say you wanted to see this guy face Hacker?
I did, and look what happened.
Or did you say that about Tempo?
Oh, I think I said that about Tempo, but I was thinking Stars Amal as well
Oh,
against Hacker. But yeah, This one should be interesting. I hope Starzama impresses me. For official predicts go, I think Packer has the edge.
Yeah, same. I see this being a good match, but
Me
I'm
too.
also
Me too.
going Hacker.
I'm looking at this one very closely. SVDOU, we got Aragon versus Ineffable.
Aragon.
Um, Ineffable kind of choked last week against SMB, so I don't see them winning here against arguably one of the best. No, definitely one of the best DOU players in this pool. But will he be better than SMB? Who knows when we'll eventually meet.
Look, Aragon is probably better than SMB in this pool, Micoy. So
Ooh,
if you
that's
can't
some
beat
fighting words.
SMB, not really. The DOU community agrees that SMB isn't as strong as Aragon when it comes to SV.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. I think Aragon is probably better now than SMB.
Yes.
All right, Aragon all the way. I don't see a world where Innovable wins unless it's via hacks. And now that I say that, thanks. SV Monotype. Royal Reloaded versus Mana.
Ooh.
Yeah, curious one. This one. Both players looked okay, but I think Mada got the advantage last week over Sasha as Royal Reloaded lost to Azik. So yeah, I think this one should be pretty cut and dry, no? Go for Mada.
Yep, I'm going Mata.
Next up, the Skeleturges versus the Pangoros. These are pretty interesting games. SVOU, we got JJ versus Suzia, but that match is the only match that was played today, and it happened, and guess who won?
JJ, right?
Yeah. Well, thanks for the spoiler, me. What would you have predicted JJ to win?
Yes, I actually had forgotten he already played, and I was just putting in my predict for JJ.
I would have gotten JJ as well. More established OU main. SVOU, we
Yeah.
got Exotic versus Velvet. Now, this one is a very curious one. Both players didn't exactly look strong last week, so hopefully this is a chance for either of them to bounce back. I'm curious to see who you going for, PokeArt.
Who are you going for? I'm
God
not
damn it.
totally sure.
You're really passing the buck to me. Alright. I I could see Velvet winning. I could see Velvet winning, but to be honest, I think I'm going Exotic.
I was also going exotic.
Alright. I can see Velvet winning, and I won't be surprised if that happens, but yeah, I think this is Exotic wins. Next up, SV Ubers. Ainscrad versus Sky U.
Ooh.
Very curious with this matchup. Both players lost to very, very good Ubers mains last week, but I think Skyu had the better, looked the stronger in defeat than Ainscrad, because Ainscrad legit got bodied in his game against 7U902. So I'm I'm saying Skyu.
I'm also saying Skyu.
Oh, I was surprised. I'm surprised. I thought you were going Ainscrad.
Nah, I saw last week's game.
Don't demotivate him. Jeez. SVUU, we got Just Drew versus Jawarabat. Or Jawabarat. Please say that. Let's say that in the correct way. Jawabarat.
Jawabarat.
Yeah, Jawabarat. At this point, I wanted to just call him Jaw at this point.
Okay, Jaw.
Alright, Jaw versus
Or
Drew.
Jawa.
Jawa Drew. Who wins?
Drew.
Yeah, I think Drew looked the more impressive last week. Jaw didn't really. Yeah, performed okay, but not great. I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna be that player that struggles in this UU pool, while Drew could easily farm a win. SVRU. This one is a very, very interesting game. We got Fellyburn versus Fiend.
I'm going Fellyburn.
Really? Why would you say Fellyburn?
Yes? What? Are you thinking Fiend?
Yes, I am thinking Fiend. I am thinking Fiend Micoy.
What?
Yeah, surprise. Yeah, they made the RU seasonal finals, and I feel like Fiend is the better player now. Felly is great. Don't get me wrong. Felly is great and can easily outplay if provided great team support. But I feel like Fiend is the better player now.
Huh.
I know that's probably a controversial pick, but yeah, thinking going Fiend.
Okay. I'm going Felly still.
Next, SVNU, we got Aftertex versus Shinjineer.
Ooh.
Curious matchup, but shit, between two winning players from last week, but like Aftertex actually won dominantly. Shinjineer got lucky, so you can probably see where this is going.
Exortix?
Aftertex.
I was thinking the same, actually.
All right, next up, SVPU, we got Avarice versus Fish. This one is an actual highlight.
I agree.
This one should be the best game of the week, if not the best game in PU.
Well, yes. Definitely.
So, I'm very excited about this game. Who would you predict in this situation?
Maybe Fish?
Really? You're going okay, I get why. I get why you would go for Fish. Like he's going strong, the momentum is strong with Fish. Avarice is still a scary player to beat.
That is true, especially after last week's showing.
Yep.
But but I also think Snoopy's was just had a bad team too.
Right. And yeah, Avarice dominated, but I want to see him actually perform well again. I want him to perform that level he showed last week. Do that again against Fish, and you will get bonus points forever. I'm going with a slight lead on Fish.
Okay, I also went Fish.
SVLC, we got Tempo di Anguria versus, well, what was once Greedy is now Genisu.
Oh right, right. Let me quickly change that.
Yeah, I think mine is unedited.
Genisu. Yeah.
Yeah, Genisu versus Tempo. Yeah, I think Tangaros. I think Tangaros. They're gonna struggle. They're gonna struggle here because Tempo is a legit player with potential. Tempo to win that
Hell,
one.
I might have actually favored Tempo if it was still Greedy playing.
I would have too, honestly. Greedy's not
So
doing so hot.
then you sub in a player who's definitely worse than Greedy in against the same player. I think it's pretty obvious who we're predicting here.
Yeah, Tempo to win. Next up, SVDOU, a matchup that is very, very has the eyes look here. Ugh, what am I saying? It's Oblivion Wing versus Penter.
That is a very interesting matchup.
I'm curious. I'm very curious because I know Aragon says that he's high on both players. I think I'm gonna go with Penter.
Hmm. I think I'll go with Oblivion Wing.
Okay, that's fair. I could see either winning this matchup, but it just depends now on the team building and the prep here. But both players can handle their own very well, and I'm curious to see what their matchup is like. SV Monotype, Twinkie versus Azik. Is this even a question?
I'd say it is, considering these are the two strongest mono players in the pool, no?
They are, admittedly, but come on. I think Azik just slays.
Yeah. Yeah, I ain't bolding against ASIC this tour. I'm just straight up not bolding against him.
Even though it is kind of a hype matchup, I still think Azik clears Twinkie. Alright,
Assuming matchup isn't bad for him, yes.
yeah. Next up is the Resort
Oh
City
dear.
Rufflets versus the Lavender Lapresses. Ah, PokeArt. This team. Too strong. Oh god. First off, SVOU, we got Piyush versus Thiago Nunez. This one,
Gulp.
it's a very curious matchup, I'd say, but yeah, this is still Thiago Nunez, one of the best players, all around players going on right now. RUPL champion, but very, very good at OU, as we saw last week. Um, did I say PU? I meant OU. Piyush, definitely a strong player, but man, I think Thiago's gonna take this. I think Thiago's gonna go all the way undefeated.
Yeah, I can't really blame you for predicting Thiago here. I'm aware that that guy is
Too
very
insane.
goaded,
Yeah, too insane for
but
our
I'm
good.
sure Pu can. But I'm sure Piyush can probably beat him. P- Piyush is pretty damn good
It's
himself,
still
you
good.
know.
Yeah, Piyush is a good player, but Thiago is like a level above him. All right, the SVOU, we got Fat Batman versus Daryl. Last year, I would have said Fat Batman, but nah, this year, nah. I think Daryl wins.
Look, Fat Batman doesn't play a lot of mono. If if that it explains
Well,
any of
now,
last week,
well,
okay?
now he's in the tier that he's destined to slot in, and hopefully will do well. But it's against Daryl, so Stariel wins, unfortunately. Sorry.
You're probably wondering why we don't have either Maverick or VK in this week.
Yeah, why is that?
Neither of them are available.
Yeah. We could have seen a great match with VK and Mav versus Stariel. Just saying. I don't think they'll hold the candle to Thiago, but I think against Stariel, this would have been better. SV Ubers, we got
Hey,
and Richard Millie Plain versus Terracotta. Old Head versus one of the well, I was gonna say
old
one of
head
the
versus new head?
yeah, New Head. Let's just call him New Head. New gen player in Richard Millie Plain. Yeah, Richard wins. Just putting it bluntly.
Thank you.
Richard wins. Better player, better skill wise, better play wise. SVUU. Why the fuck did you put Meme Dose in versus Ziri?
Uh, well, you see,
Are you really
two
half
of our well, you
good?
see, our two OU players weren't available, so we had to make some lineup changes.
You're really rewarding Meme Dose after he scraped out after he got a good win over Ampha. You're really rewarding him with a match against Ziri this week. Really, in UU of all places.
Look, Micoy, since our two OU players could not play, we decided we were putting Piyush and Fat Batman in OU. So since Fat Batman can't play mono anymore, we put Dunox there.
Uh-huh.
So we don't have a UU main. So screw it. Get in there, meme dose.
Thrown to the wolves once again. Yeah, we're picking Ziri here. All right.
Can't blame you. I felt bad when I saw this matchup. As you know, I'm very high on Ziri myself.
Mm-hmm. Very, very highly.
I think we'll need a miracle for that one.
SVRU. We got Lime versus Temp. One of the more interesting matchups that will happen. This one is actually a rematch from RU Seasonal that just happened, where Temp won.
Oh.
Where Temp won.
Oh.
Temp won that, but Tanish. Tanish is a good RU player. Temp has just great build support. One of the best builders.
You know, Lime actually asked him to write freaking now.
Oh shoot.
They're not. I don't mean he asked him that now. I meant earlier in the week. He
Yeah,
asked him to write freaking now, and Temp said, "I don't have teams."
bro. Yeah,
Okay, Mister Are You Seasonal finalist with
top
no
three,
teams?
top three at that against Lime, who's top four. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Tam, I'm gonna be the betting man. I'm returning to my roots. I'm going the betting man, and I'm picking Lime.
Oh yeah.
I think Lime can beat Tam. I am 100% convinced that Lime can beat Tam.
Oh, he certainly can. I think he certainly can.
I mean, I sent you the replays of Lime versus Temp during the RU seasonal, so that should be a pretty good indication on how these two will be played. Go watch their matches in the RU seasonal. They are whoo, gang bangers. Not wow. What was I gonna say there? They were bangers. They were definitely interesting games. SVNU, we got Wadley versus Swineup Van.
AKA Team Charm.
This was a good matchup, Charm versus Wadley. If this was peak Team Charm, then I would call it even. Like, I would call it extreme even. But Wadley's great.
I don't know if this would be even if it was even peak Team Charm because that's the NU Circuit champion, Micoy. I
Yeah,
think
I
have you
know.
forgotten?
I mean, Team Charm, but still, we've known Team Charm can pull off massive upsets before. We've seen that happen, PokeArt.
True, I guess.
So yeah, this was a good matchup. And Wadley, I'm picking Wadley here. Wadley is on a great roll right now, being the NU champion. So yeah, hedge your bets on Wadley.
Good.
SVP, we got TGA versus Principal Tacos.
Why is Pote here?
Why is Poe here? That's what I want to know. Uh, yeah, TGA, TGA.
Well, you shouldn't be asking me. I'm not predicting here.
Yeah, we'll go with the gaming attack on this one. TGA, despite the bad loss last week, I think he'll rebound and bounce back here with a good win over Poe. We'll see. We got Elfuson versus Pollo Ariosto. Well. I am very curious about this game. Pollo, Pollo is can kind of be decent, but Elfuson is just better. So yeah, Elfuson.
Thank you.
SPDOU though, Loud winner versus SMB. My God,
I think I already know what you're going to predict.
You said you're gonna need a miracle to beat Siri. How about trying? How about trying Loudwinner against SMB? That you would.
No. This is a lot closer than Mean versus Ziri.
Well, it is still SMB. One of the GOAT players.
Yes. A weakened SMB.
But he's still SMB. So SMB. Put SMB in there.
Yeah, and underestimating Loudwinner, I'm certain, but okay.
SB Monotype. We got Dunox versus Sasha. Alright. I know how Dunox can play Monotype. And Sasha did not look too great last week. So this one's a very curious matchup. Mono is mono. I think I'm going Dunox.
Thank you. So let's see. What's the score you predicted for us?
I got Thiago.
You predict Thiago, Sturreal, so that's 2-0. Richard 2-1. Ziri 3-1. Lime 3-2. Wadley 3-3. TGA 3-4. Elfuson 3-5. SMB 4-5. Oh, it seems according to your predicts we win.
Yeah, I think well, the Lime Temp one is gonna really decide that one for me. For me, Lime versus Temp is the decider.
Oh yeah, true.
I was just being a betting
True.
man.
That's gonna be a pretty close one.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
so I'm very, very curious about this one. Okay, you can predict again. because we got the Lore Society versus the Snowbell Stuffles. All right. First off, we got SVOU. We got Yone versus Tyr.
Huh.
Both players did not exactly look great last week, so I'm very curious how they'll be pitted up against each other. I'm gonna go Yone. I'm gonna go Yone, huh? But only, only slightly.
I think I'll agree with you. I've never been terribly high on tear acid.
Me neither. SVOU, we got Enzo Nana versus TDNT.
TDNT.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Goat's back. Goat should be back. TDNT for the win here. SV Ubers. Now, this one. Oh, I can't wait. Should be called the Ice Master FC combo sandwich. We got Ice Master versus FC.
Oh,
Who do you predict, PokeArt?
I'll go with FC.
FC. Okay, he did win last week.
And Ice Master did not.
But, PokeArt, I'm gonna be a betting man. I think Ice Master's got the. I think Ice has got the skills. I think Ice Master can beat FC when it really counts. So, I'm placing my bets on Ice Master.
Okay, understandable. That
S.
man has played thousands of Uber's games this gen, I'm pretty sure.
He's probably sick of it by now that he had to
Look,
play.
I scouted for him. The amount of replays I found was ginormous.
Yikes. SVUU, we got Trogba versus Career Ended.
Okay,
Well,
off topic. I may have exaggerated by saying thousands. It's more like hundreds.
well, PokeArt, who do you predict here between Trogba and Career?
Career ended.
Yeah, I mean, Trogba got lucky, unfortunately, so I can't really say I mean that wasn't really the best of displays. He did play well in the beginning of that UU game against Dunox, but after that point, he just got lucky. Whereas Career Ended at least played consistently, so I think Career Ended should have the win here.
Yeah, I think he's about to end this man's whole career.
don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. SVRU, we got Ampha versus the Franklin. RU seasonal winner, the Franklin.
Yeah, I'm going the Franklin.
Yep.
Arsenine.
He cannot. You seriously cannot go 0-2 Arsenine. That's crazy.
Ain't no way. Especially not against Stamfa.
No. SVNU, we got Danny versus Slip.
Why is Slip playing this tier?
I don't know either. I don't know.
I guess career ended is the better UU player, so I guess they're just like, screw it, Slip, you're in NU.
And Danny, and you're pitted up against great lower tiers main and Danny, who I'm definitely going for.
Yep, me too.
SVPU, we got Eternal Ocean versus Sufis. Very curious about this one.
I think it's fair to say we were both pretty unimpressed with Sufis last week.
Yeah, Sufis kind of unimpressed last week.
Eternal Ocean?
Eternal Ocean. Eternal Ocean it is. SVLC, we got Quinn versus Blee. Hey.
Quinn.
Not too terribly impressed with Blee. Hey, so yeah, I'm going to go Quinn. SVDOU. Oh, you're talking about highlight matches. Railgun versus Akaru Kokyo.
Woohoo!
I'm excited. I'm excited about this one. This one should be the most divisive when it comes to predicts. Both are great. Both are strong. Both are dominant. I think I'm gonna go Railgun, but only slightly.
I'm gonna look at what other people put.
Oh yeah, we can show that.
Railgun. Railgun,
Railgun.
Akaru.
Yeah, that's. Are you going majority?
Huh.
Are you going majority as well? Gonna
Hmm.
go for Akaru or no Railgun? I went for Railgun.
Hmm. Oh,
Okay.
this is tough.
Yeah. We only have a game left.
Remind me, who did Akaru face last week?
Oblivion Wing. Railgun beat
And
Railgun beat
we
Loudwing
faced
though.
Railgun. Hmm. I think I'll go Akaru.
Okay. Agree to disagree. I won't be surprised if either won. If the opposing side won. And finally, SP Monotype, a matchup I'm particularly excited about. Tenebrosite versus Pacificon.
I'm curious. Who do you think will win?
Oh my god, this one's hard. Again, these are two legit great players. I'm curious why Tenebrosite is in Monotype, but hey,
Maybe they don't have a better mono slot for it. I don't know.
I don't know either, but yeah, he can. I think Pacificon is more well versed in Monotype. However, I think Tenebrosite is the better player. So I think I'm gonna lean more towards Tenebrosite.
Yeah, I already picked Tenebrosite, but I wanted to hear your opinion.
Yeah, Tenebrosite's a win.
So Tenebrosite?
10%. And
Okay.
that
Yeah.
concludes my and yours and hopefully ours BLT week 1 recap and week 2 predictions. Thank you all for watching. Sorry, I have a sore throat. That's why I'm coughing a lot and hopefully wheezing a bit.
He has a cold.
Great. I shouldn't be recording while having colds, but Monday was just very unlucky for me. All right. So next time we'll cover week 2 uh, recap and week 3 predicts. So hopefully I'll be better by the end of that.
Yeah, hopefully you don't have like RSV or something like I had during the eclipse.
Trying not to gain that. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Please like this video, leave a comment, subscribe, click that notification bell so you don't miss a video once it comes out. See you next week. That's all we'll say. Bye. This has been Micoy.
Goodbye. Yep. Goodbye.
Micoy signing out.
See you later.